Noblest of noble ones, what an immense pleasure to have you here today. But today is really the discussion we are having, and more pertinently, what year are we in? This is 2021 AD or CE? See, the whole reason why I decided to make this video is because, as you know, I like talking about history, which means that I have to use dates all the time, literally. And of course, I do tend to use BC and AD, which was noticed by some people in the comments that then decided to hate on me and say, oh, you shouldn't use AD, you shouldn't use BC, those are wrong, you are forcing Christianity onto other people, you should use BCE-CE, you are a horrible person, and blah blah blah. Okay, so where is this actually coming from, and let's analyze the contents of these hate messages, perhaps sort of removing the personal attacks and trying to understand, do these people actually have a point? That's what a sensible and intelligent person does. If they have a point and it's a valid point, then perhaps I should listen. But if they don't, then I should stand firm in my personal choices. Minor disclaimer, this video is just me sharing my opinion. Take it as food for thought, an opportunity to begin an uplifting discussion, rather than me telling you what's right and what's wrong. You use the one you like, you do you. Without beating around the bush, this is the whole idea. BC and AD are Christian-related expressions because BC stands for before Christ and AD stands for the Latin words Anno Domini, which literally translates into English as the year of the Lord. The purpose of those people who literally fight for the removal and abolition of BC and AD in favor of BCE and CE are those people that are trying to achieve the following goal: religious neutrality into language expressions. Now, in defense of BC and AD, the problem I have with this is the fact that it's a rather hypocritical position to take. And the reason for that is that those people who say BC and AD shouldn't be used, well, if they really don't want to be hypocritical, they should be working against the names we use for the days of the week. Because remember, the names we use for the days of the week in English, from Tuesday all the way up to Friday, are all linked to religion. In fact, they're all based on the names of gods of Norse religion and tradition. Say Thursday, which is literally the day of Thor, god of thunder. Wednesday, the day of Wedden, which is Woden, who is Odin. Monday comes from Mani, the god of the moon riding a chariot carried by wolves. Tuesday comes from Tyr, and so forth and so on. And actually the days of the week in English are an interesting mixture of different traditions, because then Saturday and Sunday are actually linked to the classical traditions and Roman traditions, and again Latin, since Saturday comes from Saturnus, very similar deity to Kronos, and Sunday comes from Dies Solis, the day of the sun. An ancient Roman tradition derived itself from Greek culture. If you are serious about reaching a religiously neutral expression in language, then the days of the week should also all be abolished and replaced. But it doesn't stop there. What about the planets of the solar system? I mean, Jupiter, Roman god, Venus, Roman goddess of love, Saturn, again, the god of time, just like Saturday, the Roman god Mars, Mercury, all the planets should be replaced, because these are again religiously themed names. And the situation then continues. What about all those people that say expressions such as, oh God, I forgot my keys again? Would you consider this as being a forceful attempt at converting someone? Well, I highly doubt it, because this expression is used by both agnostics and atheists alike. The point that I'm trying to draw is the fact that culture and language are connected. They are intertwined, because everyday language expressions and names are never generated in a vacuum, but they are the result of millennia of history. And again, what I would consider to be the frosting on the cake is the fact that even if we all decided to remove BC and AD as to try and make these temporal conventions as religiously neutral as possible, well, you're really not doing it. The reason why this wouldn't cut it is because even by changing the letters, the whole calendar is still based on a Christian principle, the birth of Christ, as a point of reference. If you just change the letters but still keep using the Gregorian calendar, it's not religion-free. In fact, the name of the frigging calendar is named after a pope, Pope Gregory XIII, who is the one who made it. Also, as a little note of reference, the year 0 doesn't exist. I've heard people say this so much. It's 1 BC AD 1. There is no year 0. Not to mention that the very concept of 0 entered Europe only in the 12th century, so it has nothing to do with the calendar. But you see, my personal choice goes even further than that. I like AD because it's in Latin, and I find Latin to be a beautiful language, and I've even made a video entirely in Latin, link in the description below. So I just like the idea of saying Anno Domini. And if someone tells me, well, but you're speaking English, so why are you using Latin? Well, it's not the first time. I mean, every single time you've written PS at the end of a letter, well, that's postscriptum, after what's been written, Latin. What about every single time you have written the letters E full stop, G full stop, to mean, for instance, for example, you're actually saying exempli gratia. Again, Latin. But of course, trying to find a general consensus still is a good goal to try and achieve as a modern society. So the real question that we should ask is the following. Is BCE-CE really an improvement over the traditional BC-AD? But I think this idea of having to use BCE and CE really doesn't hold water simply because it's not more effective. If it were more effective, I would have no problem switching to it. But since it isn't, for the reasons that I'm about to say, I think it really is a useless crusade. Well, an important pro for BC-AD system is the fact that they are completely different. None of the letters of one of the two indications is present in the other. BCE-CE instead only have a difference of one letter. 4 letters are in common, which in my opinion makes it less effective and more prone to confusion. Also, for a little bonus, it's actually kind of funny that CE is also used to mean Christian era, so maybe a different combination of letters would have been better for neutrality. Also, BC-AD has a usage of 4 letters against the 5 letters of BCE-CE, which make it more tediously long. But that's a small nitpick. In my opinion, language is a social-linguistic phenomenon, and all words that have a religious connotation, including Thursdays and Fridays, are ingrained into the fabric of society. And since we are talking about society where we're trying to reach a general consensus, I think that the most important general consensus for an advanced society would be the following. Freedom. Freedom is the mark of enlightened civilizations. You like BCE? Go ahead and use BCE. You like CE, Common Era. Use Common Era. I'm not going to go against you, trying to force you to use BC and AD. And therefore, I think it would be nice that if I were someone who preferred Common Era, I wouldn't just be going around and attacking people who use AD, because I think that that's wrong. And that's pretty much the approach that academia has, because both BCE-CE system and BC-AD systems are accepted in academic publications. And as a language teacher, I would say choose the one you like. They're both correct. But perhaps don't use them with fragmentation, don't mix them, and if you choose one, stick to that one at least for the publication of your paper. Because at the end of the day, it is clarity in communication that is the real goal we are trying to achieve here, and mixing them up or using them in an inconsistent manner would make sure of the very opposite, confusion. So to wrap things up, as long as you are consistent with your choice, use whatever you like. You want to go for Common Era? Go for Common Era. You want to go for AD? Go for AD. Live and let live. There is no need to attack another person simply because they have a different point of view on something that, to be honest, is probably not even that much of a big deal. Also, since we are talking about the correct usage, well, make sure that you do use them correctly. And I have to say that I myself, I have a little mea culpa in this case, because sometimes I mess up, because actually BCE and CE and BC and AD have got different usage norms. While BCE and CE are always placed after the data they are indicating, BC and AD function differently. BC is placed after the date, so 30 BC, but AD is supposed to be placed before the date, so AD 30. Now, I myself sometimes get this one mixed up, and that is because, you know, I'm talking about the Romans and I'm talking about how they're fighting, and I get excited and I forget where I need to place AD. So don't follow my example and use it right. But to be honest, one of the things that I am most interested in is what you noble ones think. I mean, at the end of the day, now I'm just sharing my thoughts. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. And which one do you normally use? Do you prefer the BCE-CE set? Do you prefer the BC-AD set? Or have you come up with a new one on your own? Well, let me know in the comments below. Alright, noble ones, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember, thumbs up. And if you're not yet members of this community, become a noble one. Subscribe to my channel for more content from the Metatron. And remember, the Metatron has spread his wings. Goodbye.